After the palace released the official statement that Meghan Markle would not be attending the coronation, we got fed so much PR nonsense that the actions from King Charles were so cruel. But we also have to note that this information is coming from sources who Meghan trusts, like People or Yahoo. I mean, Meghan really believed that she could move in on the royal family. She thought it was going to be easy. She thought, oh, they're so quiet, they're so reserved. They are certainly not sophisticated to catch on to me. Meghan believed that she had the looks, the personal appeal, the intelligence, and the experience necessary to force her way into the upper echelons of British society. I think her original plan was to somehow get Catherine cancelled, and then she would become the next Princess of Wales, and after that, she would become Queen Meghan. Well, of course, that plan completely backfired. She was trying to go after William, but all she could manage to land was Harry the Spare. So she decided it was time to execute Plan B, hooking up with William as the British Madame du Barry, and she was very upset when William rejected her. So then she decided she would go after Prince Charles. She thought surely he would want her much younger body and her youthful spark. But unfortunately for her, Charles is not that type of man. He's a kind, compassionate older man, and he had no idea what Meghan was even trying to suggest. But Camilla saw what Meghan was up to, and so that plan also did not work out. Finally, Meghan assumed that with the help of Grandma's favorite grandchild as her sidekick, she could somehow convince the older lady into agreeing that she should modernize the monarchy. Meghan really thought that once she had charmed the Queen into accepting her plan, she could easily bully the rest of the family members into agreeing to do things her way. Meghan's plan was to call all the shots from behind the curtain of her marriage to Harry. She didn't want to have to curtsy to anybody. Then one day soon, after the Queen passed away and she had managed to push all the others aside, Meghan was going to be number one, and everybody would have to do her bidding. Well, Meghan got a lot wrong. Now, the Queen was elderly, sure, but she was not inexperienced or foolish at all, so she saw right through Meghan from the very beginning. She knew all about sycophants and users and double talkers, but still, she tried her best to help Meghan because that is the type of person the late Queen was. She tried to understand Meghan, and she tried to help Meghan understand the type of quiet confidence that does not need conniving and backstabbing and lying in order to achieve goals. But Meghan really thought she knew better. She always does, though, doesn't she? So thank goodness for people like Anne and Sophia and Zara and also Prince Philip. They supported the Queen as she became physically weaker. And thank goodness for the strong, quiet, wise Queen who was not now nor had ever been the mark that Meghan considered her to be. So I'm happy that Meghan is not going to be attending the coronation. She won't be able to spread her joyless stench all over the upcoming celebration. Instead, the focus will remain on the royal family, the European nobility who travel to the UK to come, and the statesmen from all over the world, and 2 billion people who will be watching TV all over the world. When the carriage carrying the crowned king passes through London, the British will be at the feet of the royal family. And what about Meghan Markle? Well, she is never going to belong again. So I hope everybody in the UK can just enjoy the coronation and celebrate the royal family. After all, they do such an amazing job representing the country. You know, Megan reminds me of my cat. I know you all have heard my little cat sometimes in the background, and boy, is she a desperate thing. She never stops trying to steal food from my plate. It doesn't matter what it is. She'll come sneak up as slowly as she can, crawling all low in the ground like she's invisible, and then she'll look the other way trying to trick me, believing that when she gets close enough, she can just shoot out that little paw and she'll get herself some food. And then she's always amazed and pretty angry at me when I catch her every single time and I take my plate out of the way. Sometimes I have to eat standing up just so she won't have a chance. I think I can picture Meghan Markle's future pretty well, though. One day, in the not so near future, there will be a couple of people who used to be known as Prince and Princess. These will be a couple of people who were born from surrogate mothers, and they'll arrive at the modest LA apartment of the ex wife of Harry Sussex. And they'll have gifts like maybe a chemical hair straightener and also some spray tan, maybe some wine and a white straw fedora. And they'll come because they are looking for an answer from their elderly mother, one that keeps them up at night. Why were we not invited to the coronation of our own grandfather? So then their elderly mother, who doesn't look very good because all her plastic surgery has basically melted her face, and she'll take out 2 important documents. The surrogate siblings, who used to be known as Prince and Princess, are going to finally find their answer. They were not born of their mother's body, and so they were never in the line of succession to the throne. And more importantly, they will learn that small children had no place at the coronation. They'll learn that in fact their mother was only ever a duchess on paper, that she never understood that the British feel connected to the royal family as their roots, and that it is the centuries old living traditions that make the UK so special. Neither Her Majesty the Queen nor the royal family really needs Hollywood. Instead, Hollywood has to come to the king to get honors. Meghan Markle also never understood that it takes an understanding of British history and the British Constitution to run a global family business so successfully that 2 billion people all around the world will watch their live events. A 40-year-old divorced woman can be expected to figure out what it means to marry the grandson of the British Queen and become a duchess. So before inviting the invisible children, we need to find out whether Meghan actually gave birth to those children herself, because that would be necessary if they are to be included in the line of succession. So far, the kids haven't been in the UK, so why now? A coronation is such an important historical event. It is hardly about marketing for the Sussex brand. I always find it astounding, too, that people who lie are not even bothered with changing their stories all the time in public where stuff is documented and easily proven. Supposedly, back then, they were acting like a couple of teenagers, thinking they were being sneaky and undetected by most people. In fact, the contracts that the Montecito Moners signed only gave them a little amount of money to start the projects, and then the rest was going to be paid once they got their content. So Meghan and Harry told us they signed for $100 million, but that is simply not true. First of all, the contract amount is actually a good bit lower, and again, they were only offered the startup costs. That's one reason they cut Meghan's stupid Pearl cartoon. She didn't do a thing. As always, they are spending way more than they take in, and they don't have any real skills to speak of either. They've already announced to the world how awful the royals were based on Meghan's 18 months in the firm, and her 50 engagements and about 20 private planes with taxpayers' money to go around wherever she wanted to. And that is all she ever really wanted anyway. She wanted a title, she wanted money, and she wanted to be famous. Well, she did get the last one. She is known all around the world, but she's also hated all around the world. So actually, now that I think of it, she failed at that one as well. And how could we forget that we already got the report on their money laundering scheme Archwell? Each of them only worked 1 hour a week. They are so ridiculous. They're dodgy, they're lazy, they're petulant, and they are really despicable people. And you, what do you think about this duo? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments. If you think my video was helpful, please remember to like and share it when